EMMA RADUCANU criticizes Carlos Alcaraz. The British tennis player embraces the heavy match load in the calendar, taking a stance opposite to that of the Mercian, who believes that there are too many commitments. "I don't think it's necessarily something to complain about, because it's what gives us our living," EMMA RADUCANU told The Guardian when asked about the calendar. A completely opposite opinion to that of Carlos Alcaraz. The world number one was very critical just over a month ago about the workload. "The number of tournaments we have to play is too high. We don't have enough time to train and rest." The player has been criticized several times for his fondness for playing off-season exhibition matches, which sparks controversy due to the apparent contradiction. EMMA RADUCANU points to players' standard of living. Carlos Alcaraz said at the end of October that he had to consider in the future whether I have to skip some mandatory tournaments, just to maintain my physical condition and my good form. Obviously, it goes beyond physical condition. I think it's also very demanding mentally, playing so many mandatory tournaments in a row or playing so many tournaments without having days to rest mentally, the Mercian stated. The British player seems to have responded with remarks that appear directed at her former mixed doubles partner at the 2025 US Open. "And besides, we make a very good living. I mean, it's not all glamour. There are definitely times when it's very hard and we get mentally and physically discouraged, everything hurts. But at the same time, what are we going to do about it? I'm sure there are people who go to work and their bosses force them to do something, but they have to do it, it's their job," RADUCANU said, comparing their job to more common ones, such as office work, and hinting that they are employees who have to meet certain obligations. Carlos Alcaraz's opposing stance. RADUCANU has received criticism on social media from fans who pointed out that she plays few tournaments throughout the year, hence her opinion. Although Carlitos has not been free of reprimands online either. In fact, he responded to the criticism, arguing that it's normal for people to think that way and not understand why we complain about the calendar and then organize exhibition matches. "But for me, the main difference is that in a tournament, you have to be there physically and mentally for a week and a half. And an exhibition is only one day," he said, referring to the current length of most Masters 1000 tournaments. He also explained to the Associated Press the difference between a tour match and an exhibition. "You only focus, you only warm up, you only train for one match." Shocking message from Alcaraz about his match against Sinner before the Australian Open. The Mercian tennis player has stated that this type of meeting is a great opportunity to evaluate his physical condition before playing the only Grand Slam he has yet to win. Carlos Alcaraz remains on vacation in Miami, enjoying his last days before returning to the court. The Mercian will play 2 exhibition matches in the United States on December 7th and 8th to get into rhythm ahead of next season. In 2026, Alcaraz will look to defend his world number 1 ranking and win as many tournaments as possible, with the Australian Open as his main goal, since it is the only Grand Slam missing from his resume. To achieve the best rhythm ahead of the tournament, in addition to facing Francis Tiafoe and João Fonseca on the already scheduled dates, Carlitos will also play Jannik Sinner in Seoul on January 10th. Despite many complaints from former tennis players about the number of exhibition matches the Spaniard plays, Alcaraz defended himself by saying that this type of match is a great opportunity to evaluate my physical condition and feel better before the Australian Open. Having the opportunity to play in front of the Korean fans is incredibly motivating. Also, playing in a new environment helps me a lot in my preparation for the season, Carlos added in an interview with Tennis Korea. Besides justifying his match against Sinner in South Korea before playing the Australian Open, the Spaniard dedicated some words to his main rival on court. "Jannik and I have faced each other in many important settings and have played intense matches. We've faced each other in several Grand Slam finals, and I think we've strengthened each other," Carlos said. Finally, the tennis player guaranteed that the rivalry between him and the Italian is positive, and he hopes to continue facing Sinner throughout his career. "With a long career ahead, I hope we can continue with this positive rivalry that helps us grow together," he said, and the last message surprised all fans. "I think in the next match I will beat Sinner after making some changes in training." Carlos Alcaraz surprises everyone by delivering the MLS Eastern Conference Trophy to Inter Miami and Messi. After being spotted at a Miami Heat NBA game, Carlos Alcaraz has now turned to football, attending an Inter Miami match with Leo Messi, in which he brought luck to the Argentine star. Carlos Alcaraz's adventures in Miami continue this week, and after attending a Miami Heat game, where he unintentionally stole the spotlight by receiving a jersey from the mascot and experiencing the NBA spectacle firsthand, he has returned to a more familiar sport, football. Specifically, the Mercian witnessed a great victory by Leo Messi and his Inter Miami in the MLS Cup semifinals against New York City. The Spanish tennis player attended the Eastern Conference Final of the MLS this Saturday at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. As in the basketball game, during the pre-match events, Alcaraz received a special Inter Miami jersey with the number 99. The Mercian was on the pitch, exchanging greetings with several Inter Miami players, who secured their spot in the MLS Cup final on December 6 in Miami. He was also seen warmly interacting with the Rosario star, an encounter between two of the most talented athletes in history. A lucky charm for Leo Messi. Alcaraz's presence brought luck to Messi, as Inter Miami thrashed New York City 5-1, with a hat-trick from former Celta de Vigo player Tadeo Allende, in this Eastern Conference final. They thus qualified for the MLS Cup final, their first in club history and Messi's as well, which will be played on December 6. The final will take place at the same venue, Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, between Inter Miami and the winner of the semifinal between Vancouver and San Diego. Alcaraz after seeing Messi's Inter crowned champions, "It was a very beautiful experience." The Spaniard had a privileged spot during the team's entrance onto the pitch this Saturday and was able to greet Messi, whom he had already met at the 2023 Laureus World Sports Awards. He even congratulated the Argentine legend during the trophy presentation. "It was a very beautiful experience," he said in an Inter Miami post on X. Additionally, the Mercian exchanged words with players like Uruguay's Luis Suarez and Spain's Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba. Rafa Nadal's advice to Carlos Alcaraz that changed him completely. To become one of the greatest tennis players in history, a member of the Big Three, and win 22 Grand Slams, 14 of them at Roland Garros, like Rafa Nadal, several factors are required: talent, hard work, and physical condition. But not only that, as Nadal explained in his interview on Universo Valdano, it is also key to enjoy tennis and not see it as a sacrifice. He told Alcaraz something similar one day, advice the Mercian still remembers and that 20 Minutos asked him about after the Valdano interview. Sacrifices are when someone does things they don't want to do. In that sense, I haven't made great sacrifices. I've made great efforts, but few sacrifices. I've enjoyed what I've done. I don't feel I've missed out on practically anything in life, Nadal said when discussing his career. This reminded Alcaraz of advice Nadal once gave him, that I shouldn't see tennis as an obligation. That I should do it to practice and get better, but not out of obligation. Without doubt, a piece of advice that has helped Nadal in his career and that seems to have stuck with Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz has his own personality and determination to achieve his goals. Beyond that, personally, I think everyone must act according to their personality, they shouldn't go against who they are, Nadal told this newspaper about what he believes Alcaraz should focus on. Nadal further explained that every tennis player must look for what works for them personally. Different things work for each person, not all of us are the same. Some need more rest, others to play golf, go to the cinema. Each one finds their ways to reconnect and return to work with renewed energy to perform at the highest level. Carlos Alcaraz, who ends the year as the world number 1, has completed the best season of his career so far. The Mercian, who has won 6 Grand Slams and is only missing the Australian Open, wants to be one of the best tennis players in history. He now wants to win the ATP Finals, and will face Auger Aliassime this Saturday in the semifinals after the Canadian defeated Zverev. The player from El Palmar spoke about all this, as well as his relationship with Rafa Nadal, in an interview with El Partidazo de Cope. The student of Juan Carlos Ferrero has just regained the world number 1 ranking, that's what the ranking shows. But I am by no means the best player in terms of tennis or level, because there are still many players who can beat me and I've lost to many players. I'm not the best, but the ranking shows that. In the interview, the Mercian also talked about the Big Three and whether he hopes to match or surpass them. I can sit at the same table as Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't have goals, ambition, I'd have nothing. That's an objective at the end of my career, to see that I can sit at that table with them. I think I can do it. He also spoke about his relationship with Nadal over the years and how the Spaniard has influenced him. I've always admired Nadal and he has always lent me a hand and supported me. Being able to speak now as equals, as if we were friends, to me that means everything. I've asked him for advice on certain matters and he has always been there. The ATP punishes Alcaraz and Sinner. Carlos Alcaraz loses half of his Christmas bonus. The Mercian, who finished as world number 1 in the 2025 ATP rankings, was unable to play all the Masters 1000 tournaments, which has cost him a significant sum of money. As the last month of the year approaches and the tennis season has come to an end, it is time to assess the sporting and financial gains of 2025 for today's top tennis stars. Among them, of course, the most curious case is that of current world number 1, Carlos Alcaraz. After completing the best season of his still young career, many wonder how these successes have affected his bank account. Well, the Mercian, who played 11 finals this year, has missed out on half of an important extra payment. This refers to the bonus awarded for participating in all the Masters 1000 events in a given year. Alcaraz would have been entitled to $4.8 million had he played all of them, but the rule states that this reward is reduced by 25% for each Masters 1000 not played due to withdrawal or injury, up to a maximum of 3. From the fourth missed tournament onward, the reduction is 100%, which is what happened to Sinner.